Hey, well, I hope it's working and the sound is okay. Hello. I'll just wait a bit uh, until until there is some activity. um, I love them too. It's kind of weird because I um the stats probably um updates really weirdly because I see 0 people watching. Uh, but okay, I just thought that I might as well redraw this sketch that I've done a long time ago, actually. That looked like this. Uh, but maybe this sketch will turn out like really bad. And we'll forget that it existed, like I always do. I usually like to start the stream when I have a proper sketch or something, so I would at least look like like a person who knows what they're doing. Um, but like one can't have anything, everything. Actually, I wanted to stream for a while, but I was kind of really tired. Uh, uh, for the past month or so because of the work and stuff. But I finally got like three holidays for out of work, and I was like, well, I can as well do some streaming. Uh, So I don't know. Apparently, my job for today to make it um, more bearable art-wise. Just right now, I gonna try to clean it out a little bit, so I'll have something to work with. I still don't know how I gonna finish this thing, if I gonna finish it. Uh, Maybe I'll try to line it in a while. Maybe it's not the best time for streaming, but like it's 7 p.m. right here, and it's like my uh my day off. I I rarely get days off on the weekend at the moment. On the weekends, so I stream when I can stream. Unfiltered thoughts on the tour. Well, I think that the cast looks great. uh, I really enjoyed the photos. I haven't heard one bootleg, one slime tutorial, and I think everybody sounds great. Like, I think Hermes impressed me the most at the moment. Maybe because I'm so used to Andres Hermes that the different Hermes. I don't remember their names yet, so I will just uh I won't gonna call them by names because I don't remember them yet. I will remember in some time, but um. So I enjoyed tour Hermes. I don't know how to explain it, but he has such a Disney-ish vibes to him. Like I got some Hercules, Disney Hercules vibes out of his singing, and I really enjoyed it. It's cool. Um, so I think he's amazing. Kimberly is great as I predicted. Like I watched her a couple of times. You know those little performances she had, like on Tiny Desk concert, and another one where she sang Our Lady of the Underground. Gave me, some expectations, and yeah, she's really great. Uh, I really think that tour Eurydice kind of um she has like New York Theater Workshop vibes, if you get what I mean. Like musically, I think her voice sounds more like New York Theater Workshops Eurydice, and the reading of the characterization is also kind of close, I think. Um, and it was really enjoyable. Like it was interesting. Um, as for Orpheus, I think he sounds great. I'm super predictable. um, Orpheus sounds amazing. But like I still think that the most interesting voices, like Orpheus voice, is um are Damunduanos. I don't know how you pronounce those names. Like I pronounce them one way in my head, and if I say it loud, uh, you won't even understand who I'm talking about. But like New York Theater Workshop is my favorite Orpheus. I think voice wise, because I'm not really into tenors and you know high voices. Like in general, I prefer baritone and stuff like that. A bit lower voices. Um, but I think New York Theater Workshop has a really pretty tenor, and I think Reeve Carney's understudy, poor John, who didn't get his chance to shine yet, but I hope he'll get his turn as Orpheus. He also has a very interesting sounding voice. Um, I think that for me personally, tenors they kind of sound the same, more or less. Also, like Reeves, he has a pretty voice, and Orpheus has a really pretty voice. But like, I just prefer something a little bit rougher, and and I think Damon has a very unique voice, and um, I don't know, just feels kind of more interesting. And I feel like John Reeves understudy has also a pretty interesting voice. Um, like I think his voice is a little bit closer to New York City Workshops Orpheus, something like that. As for Hades, I was actually really interested in Hades, since I think Kimberly's takeover of Hades Town Instagram, uh, where where she filmed him like for 10 seconds, and it felt to me like he's super charismatic and also a very handsome man. Uh, but I think it's hard to judge from audio only because so far, when I listen to Tom's audio, like Tom Hewitt, uh, the guy who's playing instead of Patrick Page at the moment. Like, I just don't know who's watching the stream. I think you all nerds know who I'm talking about. Like, I think that he's kind of more interesting to me because his Hades is so feels so much different from Patrick's, and so it is interesting to compare. While Kevin's Hades, I feel like from the audio only, I cannot tell how he acts and how he plays certain parts that I think are quite important to understand what Hades is like from this actor's point of view. Um, it felt very much like Patrick's, like in many scenes, just without tons of show off and bitchness. Like, but that's just the vibes I got from him. He has a very interesting his kids right in my opinion, and he has a very pretty voice. So I enjoyed it, but so far I kind of I feel like I didn't taste all of it. So I'm hoping for some slime tutorials to check it out. I'm really excited. I feel for me, Tom Hewlett's Hades was really uh, an interesting character because there were so many reviews, and those reviews intrigued me a lot. Actually, I was like, "Oh, interesting new Hades," and then people started describing him as Jazzy Hades, and I was like, "What are you talking about, guys? I need to see this man." And his audios really sound very different from Patrick's, and it feels like it's a very different Hades than Patrick's. So I'm also hoping for some slime tutorials to check him out. Like, I also think that when Tom was announced, I was like, oh, he's a tenor. And I was like, it's weird because Hades has to have a lower voice. But actually, I was surprised, but I think Tom sounds. He's not as deep as Patrick, for sure, but he kind of sounds. He doesn't sound really high, like his voice isn't high. He sounds pretty low, but he just sings more, and his voice is so smooth. I don't know how to explain, but really, really smooth, and I really enjoyed that. You know, most parts are just sung through where Patrick, you can hear that he has trouble singing in that low voice, which is normal, but so he speaks more, which is, I think it works great for his character. But it was interesting to see, these parts being sang through so smoothly and so nicely. And I think that Tom kind of boats me with his How Long. I think it's my favorite How Long by far. uh, because Patrick in How Long, Patrick mostly concentrates on his power, I think, which really adds to his character. I think it works really well with his characterization because you can really see that he kind of forgot what was important to him because his wife like talks about sentimental stuff and how he should let those kids go, and he's like, let's talk about important stuff, how to you know keep my workers enslaved, and how to keep my kingdom running. You don't understand like the trouble I'm facing here. um while Tom's Hades is feels like he's very buried in his thoughts. I don't know, he's like he seems very desperate, depressed, and upset over this situation. And when he sings the his part in How Long, you kind of you don't. Um, it feels like he's talking about his relationship, like he's talking about the kingdom, but he's also kind of disturbed about his relationship with Persephone, and that's some of his lines refers to, all of this happening to him. Like even when I drew How Long Animatic, I was like, I want Hades to have uh, look like he's feeling something personal when he says nothing comes from wishing on stars, because it feels like such a personal line. Like maybe I hoped that something will that wishing on stars will fix my relationship with you, but like it seems that nothing is working, and I'm clearly really upset about this whole situation. Like that's how I'm reading these lines. I'm sorry, you just opened the Pandora box. You just asked me one question about Hades Town, and then I'm speaking for hours. Um, that's the appeal of of the stream for me, right? And so I like that Tom really brought what I wanted from this line and from this verse to something really personal. Like he's both talking about his kingdom, but he's also talking about his relationship with Persephone. And also his second verse. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is bad today. In How Long is very interesting. Also, like the way how he says about him being kind of locked in this relationship, and suffering from needing to let Persephone go, and suffering from that. I think his How Long is very personal, and I really enjoy it. How he says these lines, like he's like, don't you understand, it's like it's hurting me every time, like and I really enjoy it. I'm glad I'm glad somebody comes to the stream just for to hear me rambling about Hades Town. So yeah, that's something I really enjoyed in Tom Hades. Also, I heard that he does something really funny during the dance scene, so I'm hoping for the slime tutorial to see what people found so funny. They started laughing during the recording. So I enjoy different vibe, and I really like seeing completely different Hades, and how completely different vibes from them. And I feel like Kevin um didn't didn't give me like a whole different Hades vibe. Um, I feel like I feel like Tom Hughes or Timothy Hughes. I'm sorry, Timothy Hughes and Tom Hewlett. They felt more different from Patrick, much more different than Kevin, which is okay. Like everybody has their own depiction of Hades, and it's interesting. Uh, So maybe I expected something a little bit different. But well, I'm still interested. I'm super hyped. I really think that the tour cast is really great. Like, they sound incredible, all of them. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts. And what was your opinion on the tour cast? How do you like it? Um, Also enjoyed that Korean production dropped so many content at once. Like, I'm honestly vibing with Korean production. They're great. Uh, I kind of wished, mm, I kind of wished we had more videos with the tour cast and with the understudies. Yeah, I don't really like Persephone's wig. Like, when I remember there was that thing when they told that they will go for more of a natural hairstyles with Persephone, and I was like, "Ooh, great!" I think that's really great that they're doing this, but I kind of expected that they will make something closer to Kimberly's hair. I'm sorry. Like, I thought they will give Persephone an afro, something like that, and so this week, like, they made a hair texture different to probably go for that precise type of hair, but I think they could have like make radical changes and it would be better. Like, I'm not like, oh, I wished they would keep Broadway hair and didn't experiment at all. I'm like, you couldn't you could have experimented more and make something better. Well, I hope we'll get it. Like, I feel like we'll get it at some point. Maybe, I mean, if people could could film it on Broadway, I don't see why they wouldn't film the tour. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Like, there is nothing for me to to live for other than slime tutorials, like in the Hades Town fandom sense, because Hades Town isn't coming anywhere near me in the near future, unfortunately. So I'm like, my biggest hope is that they will go somewhere in Europe, like in London, and I will spend an unreasonable amount of money to go to a London vacation to see Hades Town. But it's like uh my dreams. Not like it's happening anytime soon, but like I feel like it's more of a probable scenario. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I feel like they should have asked Kimberly, like, what hairstyle do you prefer, and just go with it. Like, I'm sure it could have been done, like, and it could have been more of a radical change. I think it looks weird. Like, I can feel that. No, I can see that the hair texture is different, but like, mm, I don't think it really works well for Kimberly, if you know what I mean. Um, wow, that's actually great. I'm happy for you. I hope you'll be able to see it. I'm like mentally hoping for for I don't know for a London performance, but again, it will still be super expensive for me to go. But I'm like, it's still more probable than going to New York. Um, uh, so like lately I'm looking at all my friends going to Hades Town and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you got to see it. But at the same time, um, I feel even, a bit jealous because I wished I could see it. Like I feel like Hades Town is the show that for which I would pay an unreasonable amount of money to see. um, like again, if I could. um, I can't say that I really enjoy. I'm super enjoying the London production. I think, though I rewatched London production. I think as much time as many times as I did Broadway. But I'm my problem with London is that I don't vibe with London Orpheus because he's so he has this popular boy in school energy. For some reason, for me, it makes it really hard for me um to consider his feelings for Eurydice sincere, because it feels like she's one of many girls he kind of was in relationship with. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just the vibe I get. So so when Eurydice disappears and Orpheus goes for her, you're like, wow, really? But again, I'm just not a fan of the characters like this. I feel like maybe it's also because this particular role and characterization doesn't suit Reeve at all. But again, in my opinion, he just looks weird, being that macho guy and the most popular boy at school. I don't know. I feel like Himbo Orpheus suits him better. Like, uh, feels really, you know, um, suitable character for him. I don't know. It's like I feel like New York City Workshop wouldn't work mm, in Reeves' characterization. Um, and I feel like that's adventurous Orpheus doesn't suit Reeve at all. Yeah, yeah. I'm so sad over the Chan 2, and I'm so upset that they didn't add it in the tour, and they didn't, like, there are no changes of lyrics in the tour, from the boot I've heard. And the only slight change they have, but not lyrics wise, but um music wise, it's in Why We Build the Wall, where they sing like, we build the wall to keep us free. In the end, they just go down. We build the wall on, higher, and then free. They sounded like really soft, and I really like the vibe. But otherwise, no lyrics change. Uh, and I also feel that, like, we got robbed of Chan to Persephone verse. And though I think that Broadway previews have had a better Persephone Chan 2 verse than London one. But I really like that in London, Persephone is like, something in the way he sings. I believe that he could bring the mightiest of kings to tears. I really like this line because she's like, "Oh, my husband's such a bitch. He's gonna cry." I know for sure this sentimental bastard is going to cry like a baby after he hears this song. Um, I feel it's kind of cute. Um, But I'm so sad about the chant verse. Also because I see many people in the fandom complaining about this verse and blaming, well, not blaming, but saying that it was a nice mistake to cut it, but when it wasn't actually her decision. Like, it was her decision in the end, but it was kind of a bit forced on her, as I can see from her book, because it's the other part of the team who was like, well, we don't need Persephone's verse in chant, because the act 2 is too long, and Persephone's verse in chant doesn't change anything, which I disagree with. I strongly disagree with that. Um, because actually it gives a really good perspective why she still wants to be with Hades. Uh, and also it makes Act 2 less, Hades centric. I feel like the story is about the both of them, so it's kind of weird if we only see Hades' part where he's like, well, I kind of like to abuse my wife, or not like abusing, but something close to it. Like, I still think that all that bullshit he's saying in the chant, it's like offended talk, um, post the first chant, because Persephone's words offended him a lot. But I just feel it's kind of weird to cut this verse, because it gives a good perspective of why she actually loves him. He wasn't like this, uh like like the way he is in the musical is more of a recent event. um and you can feel it through her chant verse. Like, he wasn't like this before. Like, he was, when he was more of a young man, uh he was better, and there is a reason why she loves him. and she still has a lot of hope. I think what I enjoy a lot is that in the previous her verse shows how much hope she actually has for him to be a better person, and um, a person she still loves and a person she used to love, and um how one of the biggest problems for her is that he kind of have has a heart of stone at the moment, is that he became really careless and unfeeling towards her and towards other people, like people who depend on her, uh, which I think it's um, right now Broadway kind of lacks this perspective a bit, so you kind of don't understand why she wants to stay with him. Also, I think I wrote a huge ass post about it some time ago on Tumblr. But with Persephone's birth, there was such a beautiful scenography. Like the scene of Chantu was so amazing. And it was like one of the scenes that really got me hypnotized the first time I saw a bootleg. Like I rewatched it, I think 15 times or something, like after I finished watching the boot for the first time, because it was such a hypnotizing scene, and it had it had a lot of meaning to it, like the way during his verse Hades kind of tries to chase her down and come closer to her, but she continues moving in the same pace, and she doesn't let him come too close, and she doesn't allow him too close, which kind of symbolizes how he tries to um, break her boundaries in a way, but he kind of fails. Like um she's still far away from him, even though like he's trying to make her come closer, you know with all his bringing her down early and stuff. And when she sings her verse, they kind of come closer and closer, and at some point they're holding hands, and you feel like the world is going back into tune, uh, because they're still uh, you know um, they have this cycle that is very natural and for both of them, and they respect it. And then when she says like, when I was a young girl, and they break the hold, their hand hold, and they come back to the places where they were. It's such a great metaphor for how they should have this thing going, and how they both should respect, how Hades should respect the nature of the laws of nature and stuff. I think it was an amazing scene, and right now it makes zero sense. They just Hades tries to catch up. Persephone, for some reason, doesn't want him to catch up, and well, I know someone in real life that has never heard any of the Persephone Chan 2 verses, and showing her the different verses was a real game changer. Uh, yeah, I feel like from only the Broadway recording, you kind of have less of a charming picture, and I feel like people who only heard Broadway version, uh, they would have been like, So why do you like those two guys? Like they are in a very bad relationship. Like uh their marriage won't survive it and stuff like that. And these verses, they're really game changer. And I honestly, I'd like to fight everyone in the Hades Town team who told Anais Mitchell, who finally got her perfect verse, as she says, um, to say like, oh, it doesn't matter really, and well, it's not a game changer. It will be better if we put one more verse of workers singing. It will be an amazing change. Like no. I wish they would concentrate on the characters a bit more and on Persephone a bit more. I feel like we still get uh the understanding of workers line, even if they kind of get less verses. Again, in my opinion, we understand that they are treated badly and they need to have a union and eat the rich and all the stuff, whatever. But I feel like Persephone's and Hades' relationship, they kind of lack context because of that absent Chantworth. I do hate how much I love the chant to blocking, even though Persephone hates it just walking around. It's an amazing blocking, to be honest. I feel like it's one of the prettiest scene and one of the most impressive scenes. I feel like Anais might add it back eventually, but maybe that's wishful thinking. Went through so many changes makes me think she didn't find the perfect fit. It's I feel like if she wanted to edit it back, she could have done it in the tour. But I hope she will get it back. Like she said that she really enjoyed that verse in the book that I bought because I'm a nerd. She says in the book that um that the verse she had in the previews was her favorite. Uh, and she told like it summarized w- exactly what she wanted this verse to be. But then the team was like, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter, and the whole thing is too long, so we need to cut it." So it's not like it was her decision. If she was like, "Well, I feel like Persephone has enough screen time, so we can as well um, stop adding this verse." That would be a different thing, but it wasn't actually her decision. I'd say it was like um, a pressed decision of a sort. I don't know. Hey, hello. We are trying to finish this sketch. Actually, I'm not really fond of how it looks at the moment, but well, if it doesn't work out, well, it's okay. Like just nobody will gonna see it. um, I don't think that the Broadway gonna be like the final version of Hades Town. Like I feel that there will be some changes. Maybe there will be some different renditions of the story that I'll be really interested to see. I kind of enjoy Broadway in most cases. Uh, like for the past like couple of months, I've been super annoyed at people who comment on like, oh, well, they changed that part from New York City to workshop production, and it was wrong, and it was so much better. Because I think that in some cases, most of the changes that they made for Broadway, either they served to give a necessary characterization for the characters, like for Hades and for Persephone. Either they were made because on Broadway and in London and in Edmonton we could actually see the workers chorus. So like we didn't need to talk about them struggling, for example, because we could see them struggling. Actually, we have a whole worker chorus that shows that they are not okay. And we can see that they are working um, all day. So, in the meantime, I find some of the posts about how Broadway is bad because it made some changes really annoying. But I think like the biggest um, flaws of Broadway for me is the Persephone's verse in Chants too, and I feel like If It's True is an amazing song. Like I really enjoy the vibes on Broadway, but in my opinion, and I again wrote a huge ass post about it. It just I don't understand why it moved Persephone. I don't understand why this song about which is mostly about unfairness of this world and how people in power are you know uh mistreating other people and all of that, like very rebellious song. Why would it move Persephone? Like in New York City Workshop, I felt like it made more sense because uh i- in this version, Orpheus sang more about his loss and his love for Eurydice. How the thing that happened in Hades Town actually, you know, took away his wish to live in some way. Like his these lyrics are super heartbreaking, and also she kind of goes to see Hades right after the first verse, which is or like first two verses that are both about Eurydice and his sufferings, and then though this rebellious part about if it's true, like what these people who have power say, it kind of comes after when she's out of the door. Uh, it kind of I feel like it makes more sense that she would connect to this situation emotionally because she can understand his feelings towards Eurydice, not his, vibe for rebellion and stuff. I agree, most of the changes made things better, and the stage of Broadway gives so much potential for cool characterization for choreography. Yeah, that's right. Well, I agree with that. I feel like New York City Workshop really has some amazing clients, but I can understand why they went away in Broadway. Like Epic One in New York City Workshop is great. I like it's great. It's Queen of Flowers, Queen of Fields, and stuff like that. Very pretty, but I feel it works better as the story of Hades and Persephone because uh, it kind of gives us bittersweet understanding what their relationship were like before this whole thing. happened, um and how they actually loved each other, and well, they I think they still love each other in the show, but uh, they just got a little bit out of touch. Um, but that's that's about the vibe. I don't know. Uh, I actually don't like how this sketch looks. I don't like how Hades looks in this sketch. Um, Let me try to redraw him. I feel like many of the changes of Broadway just try to make Hades less of a jerk. Because what I didn't like in New York City workshop is that Hades kind of a bastard. Like, he's the bastard in the Broadway production. Don't get me wrong. I may be a Hades simp, but I understand that the guy is messed up. um, but I feel like um, Broadway kind of explains his brain process more. While when it came to New York City workshop, it's hard to say whether Hades is lying or not in a way. Like I just I just don't feel like he's really sincere on New York City workshop when he's like, "Well, I built this shit for you," and shows what he's been doing all summer, because it feels like New York City workshop has always built was this capitalist and stuff, and that he had these factories and stuff more or less since forever, and he was always like this, and he kind of likes the profits and stuff. But again, it's all about the vibes. I'm not saying that it's really like this in the show. I don't know. That's just how I felt, and I feel uh and I feel like changing this epic to something that is both about the workers being forced to work, and combining it with the fact that in this epic 2 we learn how Hades actually uh, you know uh, becomes death to everything around him, and what's most important to the song that was so important to him, to actually loving Persephone without all that extra stuff. I feel like it works much better, and I would sacrifice a few nice lines to have a better characterization. Hello, how are you? We are talking about Hades down here. um, well, I'm just talking non-stop. It's not a surprise. Gosh, it was so funny when I posted this picture from the tour on my Instagram. Uh, uh, I was like, "Hey guys, what's happening in this picture?" And I assumed that people would know that, like, I know that this is a scene from Hey Little Songbird for the amount of Hadestown content I have in my blog. But that I wish to hear some incorrect answers. I don't know. It just made my day. People don't think I'm a legit Hadestown nerd. Ah, I'm sorry if my speech is kind of, if my thoughts are jumping from one theme to another. Like, yeah, I'm not used to talking. Your message got me laughing so hard. I'm like, like I was like, but I thought you kind of followed me on my Twitter, on my sorry, Tumblr. Like you could have guessed. But actually, my bad. I should have told that right away that I want wrong answers only. I'm listening. Oh, I think this face kind of looks better. Wow. I think it looks like more like Hades, so I think we'll go with that. Um. Okay, guys. Like, wait, literally 1 minute. I'll be back. Hey, I'm here. I understand. I understand. But it was so funny. I'm like, also your second message. I'm like, really made my day. But I had so many people be like, well, I guess it's the scene from Hey Little Songbird. Am I right? And I'm like, sure, sure, you're right. Um, I love that in that scene, Eva backs away with her hands still cupped it up. Yeah, that was a nice scene. I also like how most of wrong answers to that question are either about phones or about, you know, um, parents parents taking candies from kids. I'm like, this photo really has the vibe. I really enjoy, like, I really enjoy if it's true, but I feel like it's so weird Persephone wise. Like, why would she vibe with in the rich theme? Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but she is rich. Like, even if she's a positive character, she's still kind of on the same side as Hades, so to say. It's like, those fics where Persephone kind of vibes with the whole workers movement that I feel is so weird. Like, um, like I think that she has a certain degree of compassion to them, and like she wants Hades not to be a dick to people, but at the same time, they're like on the same side. And honestly, I don't think, like in my opinion, I don't think Persephone would help the workers and Orpheus if she really thought that it would have a significant danger to her husband. Like, but that's my ideas. I'm like, I'm I'm a Hades simp. I have no rights in this fandom. Yeah, I'm not saying it like Persephone doesn't care for workers at all. I feel like um I feel like she has a certain degree of compassion to them, but I also think that she's more interested in like alive people in a way. Like, she's. I feel like she's more worried about the mortals suffering than the workers. Like the workers, they are more the depiction of how Hades changed, and which kind of sets her, but at the same time not like she's ready to do anything to help them much apart from keeping that speakeasy and stuff. But again, it's just my opinion. Well, I don't think she really can set them free. I mean, if they're dead, there is no much to do for them. Like, Eurydice could have been like one you know, exception. But like, I mean, if they're really dead, then not like Hades can send them away. Like, he can free them, but not like they can go out of hell, right? But I think that Hades Town is kind of weird show concept wise. Like, you don't understand whether the workers are dead or not. You don't know whether Eurydice is really dead or is she dead for the world, like Hermes says. And it's very much the issue of your interpretation of how this Hades Town world works. I'm more thinking that they all dead, in a way, like reversibly or not. Uh, so like, uh, I feel like it's one of the reasons, at least for Patrick Hades, because all Hades have a different characterization in my opinion. But I feel like Patrick Hades is more like, well, they're dead anyway. They could as well be of use to me, and like whatever. If they have some, if they're not really happy, like whatever, they're dead. Like, I'm giving them purpose, and they can work forever in my minds. It's another thing that I think with Eurydice, it's again, it's a question of concept, like whether or not Hades turns, his already dead people and people who are struggling into his workers, or does he like willingly go places and be like seducting people with food to go work in his mines? Like, it's two different things. Like, if you think that he just proposes his dad to take this job, it's one thing, which makes the whole Eurydice deal um not a standard thing, because he kind of seducted her into coming to the underworld and killed her in a way. Like, it's just, I think it's a question of interpretation. Um, like, does Hades kill the people who work in his mines, or are those people actually, were dead or something? I don't know. I feel like Hades Town is such musical where with such a vague concept that you can literally put anything and be like, well, that's canon. That's canon now. It's like, whether or not you think workers still have some personality or not. Like, some people are so into workers, they make them, separate personalities. And, I don't know, whatever. I could never, like, because I always felt like the workers, they were just a representation of the concept of, suffering of working class under capitalism. So So like it's not like I would be like, oh, that worker number three is so unique. They have so much personality. um, I think that the vague concept is really cool because as a person, also for fanfic people who write fanfics, you could literally, fill in the blanks the way you want, whatever concept works better for you. Um, I feel like even how long, if you take Broadway's, if it's true, you can think that how long is Persephone actually getting a little bit worried about this whole uh, rebellion thing and being like, Hades, you have to let them go, or like shit will happen. It's like, you better let them go, or there will be a rebellion, and that's not cool. It's like endangers your pretty mortal life. Like, bro, we don't need that and stuff. But this again, you can think whatever you like. Choose whatever headcanon you have and go with that. The beauty of Hades Town. um, ah, uh, I don't know what to talk about actually. So, like, if you have subjects, or if you have another things about Hades Town, like, to discuss, I'll be glad. Um, like in general. Well, not so much longer. Till 9th of November, I think he said. What other musicals do I enjoy? Like, actually, I have so many musicals I like. Lately, I watched Come From Away per Shot, and that was great. Like, I've been listening to Come From Away a lot lately, and yeah, I would say go and watch it. Very very nicely filmed, and a great musical overall. But I watched a lot of stuff lately. I also watched something rotten everybody's talking about Jamie. Um, like I work night shifts at the moment, and when there are not so many clients, I watch slime tutorials um and stuff. But I have, a lot of musicals. I watched a lot of, not just Broadway, but like a lot of musicals in general. I'm I really like Patrick Hades. I mean, he's still my favorite Hades. I feel his Hades is like the most polished because he played him for so long and he knows what he's going for, and he's super emotionally suppressed. So when you see how this whole epic thing hits him and he starts to cry, literally, you're like, oh, damn, old man, calm the fuck down. um, Patrick Hades is like Hades 101. Oh, also, I'm going to see a musical tomorrow. I'm really hyped because it's gonna be Daddy Longlegs production. Like, I don't know if you watched it or not. Uh, but I think uh there is a pro shot available on Broadway HD, and it's an amazing musical starring just uh Patrick really cries on command. Like, how the guy like has the biggest tears falling from his eyes. Um, like, I don't know if you watched it or not, but Daddy Longlegs is an amazing musical starring only two actors, and it's like an off Broadway production with a pro shot. So like, if you haven't, I don't know, go and watch it. It's an amazing show, and what's absolutely amazing for me is that I've I never could have believed um that it will be ever um performed in Russia. Like, it's such a small niche musical that I was like, oh, I wish I could see it, but uh there is no doubt that it will never be performed in my country. And then there is they created a Russian version. I was like, wow, amazing. And so I bought a ticket, and I'm going to see it tomorrow. And I'm really hyped, though. Judging from the photos, it has a completely different vibe. Um, but we'll see. It will be in Russian, like, surely not in English. I think it's funny because in English it's called Daddy Longlegs, but in Russia there are so many struggles to adapt this name. So this title, so it wouldn't sound cringe. Like, there is this book. It's like based on a book, and when this book got translated into Russian, it was like um not Daddy Longlegs, but Uncle Longlegs, because in English, Daddy Longlegs it's a name of a spider, but in Russian there is no such thing. It's the same spider is called differently in Russian. So there wouldn't be this, connotation to that world. It would just sound super cringe. And so when the book got adapted, it was called Uncle Longlegs. And when they translated this musical into Russian, and they made it an Instagram musical. Actually, they like performed it in Instagram during the pandemic, like the beginning of the pandemic, so to say. Um, they called it Grandpa Longlegs again, so they wouldn't call him Daddy because it would be cringe, right? Um, and now it's performed as Dear Mr. Smith. So that's a long way for a title. I didn't even understand that it was the same show before. I was like, wait, wait, it's Daddy Longlegs, right? So I'm really really excited. I'm really excited to see it. I hope Hades Town gets to Russia someday, but like my hopes are super low. I'm hoping that some Russian musical actor will get insanely into Hades Town and will recommend it to everyone. And then, Russian directors would be like, well, this thing is worth adapting. We need to make this musical and stage it in our country. Uh, so so I could see it, right? But so far, like, no hopes, no hopes, no hopes at all. Even though I think that from all the musicals I watched, and I watched a lot, I feel like Hades sounds like one of the best musicals I've ever watched. So please, Chess the musical is amazing, but can we please have Hades Town instead? Um, I mean, there is a little bit of hope in me, because there were some Broadway adaptations, like we had The Phantom of the Opera, The Sounds of Music, The Sound of Music, um, Beauty and the Beast, but the Chess. But these are like classics, not something new on Broadway. So, um, I think they've already posted all the cities they're going to. So if there are no Canada cities, they probably won't perform in Canada at least for this tour. Soft and jovial like Santa. Maybe. It was a good day for him. One of few good days in his miserable life. But I feel like Canada has more hopes to see Hades Town anyway, considering that there was Edmonton production of Hades Town. Like maybe they will even, you know, give Canada the license to perform or something. So like it's still closer if you think about it. Like though like they made a Korean production, right? But I feel like the biggest problem is not that they won't give the rights for the Russian production or something like that. It's more about Russian producers not being interested in Hades Town at all. So because literally nobody knows about the musical. Like the fandom is literally like 60 people. God bless. So it's not like a lot of people know about it, even though like it hyped on Tony's a lot and stuff. Uh, so I don't have a lot of hopes. Like I think Dear Evan Hansen have more chances to be staged in Russia, which I honestly don't care about. um, I feel like Europe can get it. Like I think London may have good chances to have Hades down in the West End at some point. Um, maybe Germany. Maybe Germany will, if they have, if they'll have interest in that. Like if Germany will adapt Hades Town, I feel like it will get to Russia. I feel like some musical productions, productor production in Russia, they just look at mm, what's more or less popular in Germany. So like maybe like I'm hoping I'll be interested in comparing uh, the translation stuff. Like I'm probably gonna be cringing a lot too, but well, if I had to suffer through this in order to watch Hades Town, I will. Like I think it's kind of funny because I feel like Hades Town would appeal a lot to Russian audience. I don't know why it has sad vibes, and we are suckers for that. I'd be like, wow, a musical that gives me sadness. Whoa, give me a lot. Yeah. Kyrgyzstan, Korea has such a cool merch. They even have this. How do you say that? For letters, seals or stuff, like to make stamps. It's so cool. Like I don't need this thing, but that looks so cool. I'm actually a huge fan of musical merch. So if I had something like that, I would spend a lot of money on that. I think still that Broadway Hadestown has the weirdest merch. Like they have a sweatpants with Hadestown printed in it. Like um bro, how and it was during the pandemic, like when the Broadway wasn't working, and they had this this new merch, and they had these sweatpants, and I wrote to my friend like can you imagine buying the sweatpants online and like hoping that it won't look horrible on your calves. Like, who would make merch like that? Like, how will you understand that it's your size? Yeah, I would do that with these stamps. They're so cool. Like, I would buy so much merch if I could. Unfortunately, like, um I bought myself a t-shirt with Hades Town from, you know, AliExpress because it's far too expensive uh to ship from America. Like, I would love to buy the official merch, but like it's so damn expensive. And also, when you live in Europe, you have to pay so much for the shipping, right? Mm. Like, too expensive for me. I mean, it's still this pic still looks super weird. I feel like I don't know. I don't like how it looks. Whatever. I should have I should have drawn something. I that's hey, go back. I should have drawn something, easier for this stream. Also, I enjoyed so much that Hades Town Korea had so much content with their different casts. It's so cool to actually see all the actors playing and all the actors getting promotional materials, because in Broadway I feel like everyone is like, well, we have a regional cast and some other people who, well, whose names you don't remember because we never promoted them. Haha, jokes on you. Um, and this whole 8 shows a week culture and stuff. So it was so refreshing to see um all the Orpheus getting spotlight in the Korean production, and all the actors getting a little bit of video content in the trailer. I also feel like Hades Town Korea could have been like, hey, we have a guy from a very popular K-pop group, K-pop band playing Orpheus, come to our shows, whatever. That's all our promotion. But they really took effort to, you know, um, to let people know different Orpheus and different cast members. That's great. Like, that's how things should be done. Broadway. Also, have you heard that Amber Gray gets 2 shows off now, so she could spend more time with her family? I'm happy for her. Like, Oh, yeah, they're really awesome. They both have such low voices. I'd be actually really interested to hear her as Persephone. I think she'll be great. But at the same time, like, um, I feel there is a slight chance that it won't work out that well as people think it might. Like, I think they both are amazing separately, but sometimes like people have amazing voices, but they just don't sound so good in duet. But I hope that they will be amazing as duo and that we'll get them both singing together at some point. Like, I listened to some slime tutorial with Timothy Hughes and I think Afra Hines as Persephone, and they both have really great voices. But like, I don't think that I really vibed with how they sang together in chant. Like, it felt like their voices, um, like were not so cool in duo. I don't know, but again, it's like it's more of a vibes thing. I kind of really liked how Amber and Tom Hewitt sounded like. I feel they really sound great as a duet in How Long. They were really cool, like because I think because of Tom's a little bit higher voice, they really got that beautiful duo with Amber. I also love to see Timothy Hades, but as far as I'm aware, there are no like video booths. I'd love to see him because from the audio, he seems like he has such a different take on Hades, and um, his Hey Little Songbird is really interesting. More, he has more friendly vibes, and he sounds like a little bit concerned, like he tries to act like Eurydice's friend and be like, well, I understand what you're dealing with, come to work in my mind. And that kind of stuff. And he's also feels more openly emotional about um about things in general. Like it feels that for him, Orpheus seems more like a threat, uh, even in papers. Because for Patrick, Orpheus isn't a threat at all. At least not in papers. Um, he's like, lol, lol, young man. Like, bro, you want to fist fight with me? Like, I'm 2 times bigger than you, and I'll fucking kill you. Like, that kind of energy. While, you know, Timothy's Hades is like, wow, that guy is a threat to my authority. Go away, nasty one. Uh, I just asked in a Hades Town Discord server. There are some people who have boots, and sometimes they don't mind sharing it. I don't know if you wish, I can give you the link to the server, and you can ask in the bootleg section, like, uh, for stuff. But usually, audios are pretty easy to get from the bootleg masters because I don't know, they're not so dangerous to record. I assume because I myself recorded some audio bootlegs of the shows I went to, but it's not it's not it's hard to get caught, like let's say it. With the video recording, it's super obvious that you are filming probably. So, like, I don't know, you can jump into my DMs in Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, and I'll just send you a link to the Hades Town server. Yeah. But I think that uh, Timothy's Hades, there were some beats. I think there is a video on YouTube where he sings How Long, like not from the performance, but like um from some kind of concert or something. So you can check him. But I feel like Timothy, it's a little bit harder to sing low. Like it feels like what surprised me in Tom's performance that he kind of seems like it isn't. It's not much effort for him to sing a little bit lower. For Timothy, it seems a little bit like not like a struggle. He still sings super well, and but I don't know. You hear it and you're like, well, uncomfortable. Um, I don't think I will go into more details than that. Uh, I think I'll add uh, the tree something or something in the background, and then I will try to quickly color all of it. Like it's gonna be a sketchy thing. Like it's funny, but when you color the sketch, it somehow looks um a little bit more polished than if you just leave leave it like this. I wish Hadestown would get a professional recording, like a pro shot. It would be so awesome. Like I watched Come From Away with professional recording, and it was so cool. Like the staging and the angles you can get would be so cool. Like I'm sad that Broadway doesn't use their Broadway HD as much as they could. Like it could have been a really neat streaming platform if they actually added a bit more content that people actually wanted to see. Like imagine if Natasha Pierre in The Great Comet um, would be on Broadway HD. More people would bought it more, bought it probably. I feel like there would have been less bootlegs because there would be no need and stuff. Just gonna add a little bit of flowers, so um, it would look less um less empty. I think with the background, it looks kind of a little bit better. Even as sketchy as it is, because I don't feel like properly lining it. Like I know I barely draw proper stuff at the moment. Like since I got a job, um, uh, I have less powers and less time and less wish to draw anything. Okay. I always forget to draw Hades' tattoo. It's so funny. Like, it's one of his main design traits, and I'm always like, well, there is something lacking in this whole look. Um, oops. Uh, drivers. Hmm. I actually don't know uh, what I'm going for in terms of color. Hmm. Like, okay, we'll we'll work on the background a little bit later. Um, yeah, I think I'll just block the colors for the characters to, color them easily without affecting the background. uh, so I'm gonna, try to clean it out a little bit before going for coloring. So okay, uh, and I'll need to make a new folder. And flip it right under this thing. Huh. Okay. And since I'm lazy, I'm gonna color it on one layer because, well, there is no need to bother. Um, like I think I'm gonna end this stream in an hour, so I hope by that time um, I will color this thing. Oh, it's wrong color. Okay. I don't know why, but I always start with coloring the skin, even though afterwards, so like I'll have to recolor it again. But like whatever, I'm used to doing this. So like it's his arms, his tattoo. And Persephone's. Wait, there will probably be some gaps and stuff, but at this point it's not that important. And I'm always struggling with with the color of Persephone's dress. I'm gonna be honest. Actually, let's color. Hey, hey, I'm picking different color. Yeah, it's also a wrong Persephone dress, but Persephone's dress, but who cares? Oh, thanks. Sharing a nice summer day or spring day together. I feel like a lot of coloring, like, um, uh, I think like when we are going to add the shadows and stuff, the picture will really come together. It seems to me like when you're watching the process, you're like, it's not going on too well. But once you put some shadows and maybe some textures, um, it kind of starts to look so much better. I also love um, how cute Hades' vest is in the musical. Uh, because it actually has, if you look closely to it, it has this little flower patterns, like there are some small red flowers on his back, which is super cute. And I feel like in his costume it shows that deep inside he's still like the same guy who sang La La Las to his wife, and it's really touching. So, like, if you never noticed that, that's my gift to you. That's very sweet. I think also to think that these flower patterns they have been there all the time during the show. They just got covered up by all that show off clothing, like um like his jacket or his leather coat, and that it only we can only see it in Act 2, where he's more sincere and true to himself. That's really an interesting artistic decision, I think. Also, it kind of connects him to Orpheus color wise. I don't know how to draw his snake themed ugly shoes. Let's consider that that's how they look like. Oh, that kind of looks cool. Okay, and also I'll add some pinstripes. I usually forget drawing pinstripes, but like My favorite part, drawing a lot of lines coming together. And then I will lower the opacity a little bit. So, you know, these white lines, they wouldn't be so vivid. Also, I have some stuff I didn't color here. Um, um, I understand that it's not really exciting, but uh, okay. Well, there are some colors to her hair, of course. Like, I just think that I'll forget some obvious stuff. Please remind me to color her book, because I'll most certainly forget it in 5 minutes. I actually love when I drew Hades and Persephone, and Hades is in a in a waistcoat. I really like to color pick the colors of, you know, red in Hades' waistcoat and make Persephone's flower exactly the same color, like, you know, for the vibes. Um, let's make the book also the same color. Um, Okay, I think that will do for the base colors. Getting a little bit tired. Okay. Let me work on the background a little bit, like here. Oh, actually, I think no. I thought um I actually did some, throw a bit of my color ideas for the previous version of this sketch, but apparently no. Maybe I didn't save them. Um, well, just so this space wouldn't look too empty. No, I don't want to add too much details. So I think it looks pretty well already. I mean, without any shadows and stuff. But uh, let's do something else. We'll add a little bit of shadows, so it would pop a little bit. To be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. Like most of the time, I just have no idea. Okay, just let's drop something and multiply and see how it works, if it works. I mean, I think there still should be a shadow from the tree, like since they're sitting under the tree. And so I'll just make a correction layer and I will pin it here, and then I'll try to, check what works a little bit better for this picture. I want it to look warm, like it's hot summer day, but they're like sitting in the shadow. I think this one looks pretty nice. Okay, let's go with that. Yeah. So Okay, that's the color. So I think it makes it look warm, right? I'm just it's hard to explain your thought process because there are no thoughts in my head, but but in general the idea is this way. That's my train of thought. So one moment, I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, I'm back. Huh. So I'm generally I don't know what I'm doing when when I'm drawing, but I just hope that it will look the way I want it to look like. Oops. Like um I like there to be some lights. My way of working is like super random. Um, I just hope it will look good in the end. Okay, so Um, struggles. Uh, okay, well, I will leave it like this. Um, um, huh. I don't know. I'm always like, oh, the coloring will be the fastest part, and then I'm like, well, how do I do this? There's so many ways. Um, mhm. And I think I will add another shadow layer. Um, nice. Just to add a little bit of volume within that shadow. I love this. I have two favorite texture brushes. Uh, and they really save my artwork so much. They make it look more presentable, I must say. Oh, I'm sorry, it's so silent in the chat. I'm like, uh, uh, having a little bit of speaking to myself moments. um, I think it doesn't look too bad, actually. Uh, um, the only bad thing about these texture brushes is that they add so much, weight to the file. Like my files, when I use this brush for the main shading, they are so huge. They're like 20 megabytes per thing, and then you're like, whoa. Like, Tumblr wouldn't load them, um, because it's like, bro, it's it's more than 10 megabytes. Chill. Like, I don't want to load that. We don't have such a huge files on tumblr.home.com. Wow. Oh, uh, I'm just looking at the audience number and I'm like, wow, 5 people more uh, than the amount of people on the stream. Um, just once start coloring, it's really hard to stop. Um, I feel like it's funny how textured brush actually adds to the work. Like I put more time to it than I actually had. Uh, I'm just, I'm working on Hades' nose because it's my favorite part of Hades to draw. Like, uh, I need the nose to be perfect. Okay, so I just usually work on faces the most. Uh, yeah, and then everything else usually, you know, not that much. Uh, no, I don't know. I don't like this part of Hades. Like noses is super fun to draw. I like it's one of my favorite things to draw. Also, large noses as Hades nose. Like it's so fun. Like I'm usually struggling uh with shadows because I personally prefer um really hard shadows, and I'm not into the blur and stuff very much. Like a lot of people they're trying to make the transitions as smooth as possible, but I'm like I want it to look rough because I feel like it's fun. I think it's funny because like one of the most funniest and I think um cutest comments I get for my art is that people think that The way I draw noses is pretty cute, and I'm like, whoa, that's that's a really interesting comment, and in some way, even a weird one. But that's kind of accurate. I have a lot of fun with noses, so like when people write me that, I'm like, yay, I I achieved something I wanted to achieve. I think I'm having the most fun when I draw noses and eyes and just faces and expressions in general. I also I also kind of like drawing hands now. Like I'm not really good at drawing them, but I feel like they're more fun for me than they used to be, which is cool. Like I know people generally don't like drawing hands and stuff. Okay, I think we are finished with the shadow. Let it be it. But now I think I wanna add some light. I mean, maybe it looks a little bit rough, but it's okay. I'm not going for perfect. Like just okay will be enough for me. um, and I think for this I'll use overlay. So you know it will get this fun effect. Of glowing. Um, that's also true. I like drawing hands, but like when they are in a very predictable position, like kind of relate. Um, I think my least favorite part to draw is the legs. Actually, I really struggle with them. I need to um, collect myself one day and to properly practice. But thank you. I just think that um, it usually looks much worse before you start coloring. Like when you drop a, a bit of color, and also a textured brush. Textured brush is important, at least for my sketches. I feel like when you add um, this brush, it kind of brings the whole picture together. It looks like how to say it, a little bit more expensive. uh, though maybe you didn't spend a lot of time on it. And we've been streaming for 3 hours already. That's that's quite a lot of time, but uh, not like a lot, a lot. So, um, I think I really like how this picture turns out at the moment. Looks cute. I'm gonna feed my Hades Persephone sheepers. I'm kind of sad that there is very little Hades Persephone content lately. I really hope that we'll finish our Hades Town collab with a couple of my favorite artists soon enough, and we'll be able to share it. What we have at the moment looks really great. You guys gonna love it. Um, um, okay, I wanna turn it down a bit. Okay, that's. I think it looks a little bit better. Okay. And I'm so hyped about this collab because um, I really got. I'm really happy to have a collab with people that I love a lot, like art wise. Um, so I'm like fangirling a little bit. I'm like, woo, it's so cool. Um, and I think the results look mighty pretty. That's okay. Um, um, and I kind of wanna, I kind of wanna add, like leaves, or I also, I forgot about some flowers that I drew here. So I also need to. Draw them, like if I edit them. I still haven't found the best way um, to make, you know, when you're sitting under the tree, there is this really interesting kind of spotty light um, that falls down, and it looks like super pretty. And I still figure out how to do this kind of stuff. So I kind of want to go for the vibe, but at the same time, it might look not the way I want it to look. Let's see how it will turn out. If it looks nice or not. I'm actually really happy how this sketch turns out. Surprisingly, like when I was sketching it, I was like, okay, the moment of truth. I think it will look not so good. Yeah, it looks weird. Oh, oh, oh no. God. I've probably done it on the wrong. Oh, I'm so happy. I just thought that for a second that I did it on the wrong layer. Had a mini heart attack here. really the magic. Overlay really does magic most of the time. Um, Hi, hello. So okay, I think we're mostly done. Now I want to do one thing. Wait, where is my where is my line art? It's always a struggle, like when you don't have enough brain cells to uh, to name your layers. Okay, I'm fine. How are you? How's your day? So, I will duplicate the layer, and I kind of wanna try to color it a bit. So I will lock the pixels on the line art. I'm copying the line art, so in case I didn't like it, the result, I'll be able to just turn it back on. So right now try I'm gonna try to color it and to see how it looks, because sometimes when you color it, um, it gives you kind of a softer look or something. At least that's something that's I enjoy in colored line art. But we'll see. But I'm usually, I'm usually somewhere in between. I really like crisp black lines, but at the same time, there is something really nice um, about colored line art. You know, I don't know what do you prefer when you're drawing? I'm like, I'm so inconsistent in terms of coloring and art style, because sometimes I vibe with that one. I think and sometimes I'm like, gosh, I want to have a colored line art. It would be so pretty. I think sometimes I see some other artist works and I see something interesting, like I haven't colored my line art in years, but then I see some artists, having a really cool effect with that, and I'm like, wow, I need to try it once again. It looks awesome. Like I can color his hair here, like has white hair. Oh, didn't think about that. It was a bad decision to, to copy the tattoo as well on a single layer. Let me. It's gonna be a struggle. Okay, I'll try to leave the tattoo untouched. Didn't think about it. My bad. Um, Sorry, I just noticed that the kind of. Oops. Oops. Like, I don't know. Do you think it looks a bit softer with the colored line art, or no? um, because I just feel like it adds a little bit of softness. So I don't know. I think this one needs a little bit of contrast here for his head, like this. Also kind of forgot about the watches. It's kind of, I think I'll make them shine a bit, like this one. Go with that, like just a bit. I'm having troubles making decisions, like should I leave the line not colored, or should I go with just simple black? I feel like both have their own appeal, but no, maybe I'll save them both and we'll post both versions. Mm, what do you think? Black or, you know, colored? Like, well, I'm saying like there is a huge difference between them. Like, there isn't, I think. Oh, yeah. Sounding like somebody gonna steal it. I think we're mostly done. Like, I don't know. Maybe I can add a little bit of texture to the sky, um, or maybe not. I don't know. Um, I think like both too. Like it's more of a question of what to post. Like there are minor changes, like um, barely noticeable. I think we're done. uh, in about 3 hours and 40 minutes. Like let's say that the sketch I started with it was like 5 minutes or something, and I think it turned out really cool. um, we can even look at the original picture, like um, like the sketch I started with. It looked kind of worse, but I think I'll also post it when I post this thing, which is like in 5 minutes probably. Uh, then I think I will end the stream there. Um, Thanks for coming, and really thanks for sitting for so long. It was fun to actually stream again. It's been a while. I hope maybe when I'll have different ideas sometime soon, I will also come to stream and we will share and talk a bit. So okay, have a great evening or day or morning, whatever time of the day it is. And